and welcome to Wheelnerds. This is episode 234. I'm Chuck.
And I'm Todd.
We're going to be talking about motorcycles.
And beep, beep, motherfuckers.
Yeah, what? That's you every day, yeah?
Beep, beep.
Okay.
The Bandit was ready for some service. Took the exhaust apart, put in the new link pipe, and got better seal on everything, and I'm hoping everything seals up better this time.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, well, while I was at it, I'm like, no, I kind of wanted to put the better headlight on, where I've got the two headlights, which is turning out to be a bit of a bitch, not going to lie. But I figured also, I've got those two horns that I had on the Strom under the front cowling, and I can put them on the front of the Bandit, and they're pointed outward at the road on the Bandit.
Ooh.
Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. The echo is unnecessarily loud.
What?
It's amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, the funny thing is,
scare?
My daughter, for one, neighbor, presumably somebody in Nevada. Yeah, I was like, okay, I think these are wired up. Oh my God. Yeah. So, the funny thing about it is, once the headlights are on later this week, when I get around to those, the horns will now be about the same size as the headlights.
So you're just going to have all these round things poking out the front of your bike.
So beep, beep. Everyone, beep, beep.
Is beep still an accurate sound?
Strictly speaking, no. One of the things I really like about the Hellas is that they're not really a beep. They're more of a wonk. And the two of them are tuned so that they're not tuned right for a diatonic scale. So it's like an uncomfortable honk when both of them are going. Like,
okay.
Sort of, like kind of makes your teeth feel funny. Yeah, It's pretty great. But it's together and the horns work. I had to do a little bit of my own harness work, but that's not new anything.
Right.
So, yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, I've been tooling around in the Ural. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
It's good.
It's fun. Yeah.
The Ural is immensely satisfying at 55 and below.
Yeah, which is pretty much, because I'm not hitting the freeway.
Yeah. You're just tootling around town.
Yeah. Running errands, just getting out so I can not be in my house in front of a computer.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good, honestly.
My wife has made me promise to take lunch breaks where I leave the house.
You have designated ride time? That's kind of cool.
Yeah, because I've been very cranky.
We'll have to go up one of the canyons one of these days. If I take the Vespa though, yeah.
If you take anything, you'll be faster than me.
Well, yeah, the Vespa held 45 the whole way up big, but you could see the gas needle move.
Yeah, I'd be up for that.
Cool.
Just as long as you stay 6 feet away from me, because
shouldn't be a problem.
That's got nothing to do with what's going on. I just don't
in general.
like you near me. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. People. You.
Yeah.
Icky.
Yeah. Just you have a musk.
Yeah.
A musk. Yeah. You've cultivated a musk. I've noticed it more now that I don't have to come over to record the show.
Mm-hmm. You're like, wow, some of the things that I have that I took with me kind of smelled a little of Todd.
Yes. Like I'm pretty sure that's why you gave me that jacket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just to get some Todd smell on you.
Yeah, just to have it floating around the house.
It's pretty Todd in there.
Like, was Todd just here? Hey, Bonnie.
Actually, I barely ever wore that jacket I gave you. I put it on once just to try it on, and I was like, yeah, honestly, my other one that's better size for me is better.
Huh, okay.
Yeah.
How come?
And now,
just, the size or?
Yeah, something about the size and the arms. Or I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was something about it that the other one worked better. Some of it was the other one is really taut inside. It is. My Falstaff is very, very taut in there. Oh my goodness me. Is it ever Todd inside?
Okay. Wow. I got it.
It's got this the smell arrives like 5 minutes before I do. And people are like, is Todd coming?
Your students at the range are like, what is that? What's that ominous?
Something. What?
Filled with hate and judgment. It's like one of the horsemen are coming for us.
Sick.
And then you hit your horns. What's up, bitches?
Beep, motherfuckers. Satisfying on so many levels. I'm looking. It's been a colossal pain in the ass, honestly, taking the band apart, rewiring everything, because you start to realize like how shitty the 20-year-old wiring is. Like, it's totally crappy. So there's a lot of things I'm just like, you know what? Fuck this. It's gone.
Are you gonna be like redoing the whole harness, or?
No, there's a few parts of it. Like a lot of the little the big plastic pieces are built to last, and they're great. Like all the big, like, you know, where the
big ass connectors,
the big ass instrument, and all those connectors. Those are all pretty good, and they're built to last. Like you grease them up a little, put them back together, and you're good. The small
That's what she
ones,
said.
yeah, the small ones, such as the ones for like the turn signal or the horn, they're just little shitty plastic things. They're just going to pieces. So a lot of those are getting stripped, resoldered, replaced, that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's tedious.
It's not horrible. Honestly, getting the old loom off is one of the grossest parts, because somewhere in some Japanese factory they've got this, like, it's I just imagine like a big sheet of OSB with a drawing on it of where all the wires go, and then they've got this machine that extrudes this like glued on plastic wrap. And I don't know what this shit is. I've never seen it in the store, but it's got some sort of goop in it, and they wrap it around the wires in the harness. And like 20 years later, it's 10 times as goopy and disgusting as it was when it started. It's horrifying.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're talking like 6 to 10 linear feet of this shit.
Oh my gosh.
It's fucking terrible. It's great now. Now I've got it wrapped with nice high quality 3M tape in the places it needs to be, and shrink wrapped in places where it needs to be. But holy shit, getting that old stuff off, dude. That is not fun.
Hey, all right.
Chuck's like, this is why I sell bikes after a few years.
After a year. Well, actually, I haven't. Well, no, I've been holding on to these for a little bit. No, okay, it hasn't been a year yet for the Busa. Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's, you know.
No wonder I'm itchy to sell it.
To sell the Busa? I thought that was the keeper of the group.
I'm just kidding.
Okay. Freaking me out. I mean, if you were going to sell it, you know what you could buy?
What can I buy?
You could buy, very affordable, a classic. It's a 1976 Honda CB750. This is the UJM that started it all, Chuck. 1976 Honda CB750. Engine removed and partially disassembled. Otherwise appears to be complete with all the parts and basket.
Wait, what?
What?
Parts and what?
Basket. It's right downtown. There's no title in hand, but I have a bill of sale, and we'll create another for buyer and for all subsequent buyers. Keys are in the ignition.
Subsequent buyers. So how many times does he plan on selling this bike?
I don't know. I added the subsequent part, but so you know, it's a classic. It's a total classic. It's available now, and it's, you know, moderately a bike.
I'm really disturbed that there's not a motor. Oh, okay. Here's a picture of the motor. But that doesn't make me feel better.
No? I mean, it's all nicely in a basket and stuff. Like, sort of. Parts of it are.
Yeah, wow.
There's most of a motor there. Probably.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's
likely, right?
The big parts of a motor there.
Yeah.
This was what is this? Someone's dream. This was someone's grasp attempt at their youth.
Yep. You know what disturbs me more about this picture?
Huh.
I am 90% sure I know who this is because I recognize the alley.
What?
This is, I shit you not, I can see in the distance down the alley my old shitty garage from when I lived in the apartment with the garage, where my garage was just a shitty motorcycle shop.
Oh, right.
This is
down. Yeah, it does kind of look like that.
This is literally down the road. And I was the guy bought the bike, and he was very proud of it, and he was going to fix it up, and it's gone.
Wait, so when he bought it, because it's been a long time since you lived there.
Yes, it has. Well spotted.
So when he bought it, it wasn't running?
I don't think so. I mean, he didn't ride it anywhere, so I have my suspicions. It was probably not running at the time.
And it would appear to still not be not running.
I would say that's a pretty safe bet under the circumstances. Yeah.
To still be not running, yes.
I mean, you could push it around and make motorcycle noises, but the engine is conspicuously not, in the frame or together.
Oh, so is this the alley that you went sliding down on a sheet of ice?
This interview is over.
That your wife took a picture of?
Maybe.
The very famous picture of Todd looking through his turn as he goes almost completely horizontal.
Yes, I believe that to be this alley.
How far away from this bike would you say that spot is?
Mile tops, probably more like a quarter mile or less.
Is it bringing back good memories?
Not really.
Do you want to talk about it some more?
No, I'm good.
Should we move on?
Yeah, we should go someplace else.
Okay. How about a 66 Suzuki K15 Hillbilly?
An actual classic in Ooh.
I have the original title. The only thing not original on it, the seat was reupholstered and the side covers were repainted. Starts first kick, 5,900 miles, runs great. Awesome novelty bike. I've had it stored in my living room for as long as I've owned it.
Right up until that moment, this seemed fairly normal.
At least he didn't say he was sleeping with it.
On the other hand, it is pretty.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
This is that era before the UJM, when the Japanese makers were like, we got to make something just like Triumph so people will buy it.
So does that say something about how well it runs?
I don't know.
Okay. How do you feel about the price of $2,500 for this?
I think what's going on is this seller is trying to sell to an enthusiast. Is all I can figure, like a hillbilly enthusiast.
Someone who will keep it in their living room.
Yeah, honestly, probably somebody of a certain age where they remember this bike fondly. Because
so they're there in their living room. 2 TV trays, one in front of him, one in front of the bike, a couple of Hungry Man dinners.
Yep. Seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Because, while this is an interesting piece of history, in terms of actually being a bike, the UJMs were superior in every conceivable fashion. So.
Yeah, there's a reason why the UGMs became as numerous as they are.
Yes.
As opposed to this.
Which is as numerous as... Well, here's one.
Here's a shiny one.
It's quite shiny. Look good in the living room.
It's a conversation piece.
There you go. It's a conversation piece. That's what we're looking at here. Yep. Total conversation piece. Elsewhere in the land of shiny and pieces of history, this is a 1960 Honda Dream 305. Neat.
Whoa.
Runs and drives, one kick, has electric start, needs a battery. This thing is in good shape for 60 years old, open to trades.
Wow.
Yes.
It does look good.
It is immaculate. I mean, as immaculate as one can expect.
At 60.
Age. At 60 years old. I hope I look this good at 60.
You don't look that good now.
Okay, that's a fair cop. Yeah, there's another little piece of history. This is one of when Honda was starting to try to make cooler looking, because when Honda showed up, Honda was making, let's be honest, kind of dorky looking but practical motorcycles. They were like, we need to make something cooler looking.
And they did.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool looking.
I always wonder, though, about the people who have these perfectly immaculately restored motorcycles, which were sort of cool at the time, but not like objectively amazing or revolutionary. They just loved it so much they kept it really well somewhere. I don't quite get it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's it harkens back to maybe somebody's youth, and he just wanted to grab it for another shot.
Well, this one has like parts, and you look at the Dream, and the things I noticed about this Dream, the Dream has modern rubber in it. And like there's dirt and stuff on it as though it's been ridden, but it's otherwise in like really good repair. Like someone actually rides this thing. Which is kind of wild. Yeah.
Oh man, this is pretty cool. And the aesthetics still hold up, I think.
Oh yeah.
Today.
The aesthetics of that kind of like stainless tank with the pads on either side that both the Hillbilly and the Dream. By the way, if the Hillbilly looks a little like the Dream to you, that's not a freaking mistake, right? That was not a mistake. Suzuki for years was like the cut price Honda. That was their jam.
Wow, that does. It still looks very well put together.
Yep.
Like better than some cafe racers I see. Many cafe racers I see.
Yeah, my greatest worry, honestly, about a bike like this is somebody's going to be like, I'm going to take this and make a cafe racer out of it.
That person would need to be shot.
And I'm just imagining like a bunch of old guys, including Dale, dropping out of a tree and just beating them within an inch of their life.
Howling like monkeys.
Yes, the entire time. You bastards.
Dale never let go of his cup of 7-Eleven coffee.
Not once.
Oh. All right, well, let's see what else we can find here. A restored 1961 Cushman Eagle engine machine work by Alaska Drag Bike. All new engine parts from Cushman Performance Electric Start Kit added. This is a street legal scooter that is licensed and can be ridden daily or just put up for show. No detail left out. Call or text.
And we have a Cushman in actual good shape, in defiance of the usual Cushmans we see in the ads, which are bits of them.
Yeah. Street legal and ready to go. And the paint's really nice.
Yes, they've chosen an interesting banana yellow paint, but, in case driving a Cushman around didn't get you enough attention.
Well, some of those little old ladies can't see that high over the dashboard.
Yeah, this would be well below the dashboard of most cars. Though it look a bit like a Harley, you have to understand the scale of this thing. It really needs a banana for scale. Because it's small.
There's that number, that picture number 5 kind of gives a sense of tiny.
Oh, yes, it's rather tiny.
This was up in Alaska. Man, someone in Anchorage has this thing.
Wow. This looks like a labor of love to me. A lot of these old bikes look like labors of love.
Yeah, this has definitely been in someone's living room.
Yeah, living room bikes. It's the new class of bike. You got your shadow economy on one end, and you got a living room bike on the other. I understand you could also put like a clapped out beat to shit racing Gixxer in your living room too.
Yeah.
Hi, John.
It's not it's not quite the same aesthetic.
Doesn't quite have the it's still a conversation piece, but it doesn't quite bring the cool in the same way.
Yeah, it doesn't quite bring an appreciative tear to your eye.
At the end of our trip,
better.
At the end of our trip back in time, there's a 1970 Triumph T100R Daytona with a video.
I like seeing old Triumphs.
Yeah?
It's kind of neat. Yeah, just because I like Triumph as a brand.
Oh, okay. Now the interesting thing about this is a T100R Daytona, they say, but it's got Tiger fitting to it. I mean, time was the Tiger was basically the same ass Triumph bike with knobblies on it, right? And a high exhaust. But yeah, this is quite the really well restored Triumph. This actually reminds me of the Triumph that the guy had like 20 pictures of in his wallet more than his grandkids when I ran into him at that show. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's got that kind of feel about it.
This looks like also something that is ridden.
Yeah. It's got enough. The pipes are, blued and scuffed enough that it actually gets out and goes around.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. And yeah he has a little video for it. So I like that color of green.
It is cool. Yeah, the draft green. It looks good on the Triumphs. Now, I got a question for you, Chuck. As we're looking through all of these historical bikes that someone has lovingly, put together or dreamt of lovingly put together, which bike would you put in your living room?
Out of these or just in general?
Just out of in general. Of the bikes you have or have had, which one would be a living room piece for you?
Really, the Busa.
I kind of figured that would be your answer, partly because it is really it was a piece of motorcycle history.
Yeah, and it's very cool looking.
Yes, it is that. It's definitely aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah. Why do you ask?
I was just curious because it's hard to predict, right? I mean,
okay. What would you do?
I don't honestly know.
Do you appreciate bikes in that way that you would be like, yeah, this should be in my living room? Not
really, to be honest, and I think that's part of it.
Yeah, you strike me more as this is a thing that's a means to my desires, my end.
Yeah, all my bikes are chosen because they're a thing that does the thing I want the thing to do.
Right.
I mean, the Bandit is freaking great. Would I put it on display? No, not really.
No.
Oh.
The Vespa?
Maybe.
That's kind of cool. It's cool.
It was the last of the carved Vespas, so maybe I don't know. I guess I'm trying to imagine putting it in the living room, but the problem I hit there is like the thing about the Vespa is it's in addition to looking really cool, it's so freaking practical and fun to ride. Like why wouldn't I just go ride the shit out of it until it falls apart beneath me?
Like every bike you want.
In accordance with the prophecy.
The Busa, definitely.
Yeah. So
thinking back at other bikes.
The one bike I got to ride recently that I think is both an incredibly cool bike to ride and a sensible bike to ride and also pretty has to be the FTR. You
got to ride the FTR?
Yeah, I rode Melinda's.
You rode Melinda's FTR?
Yeah, she came over to steal flowers from my garden that we were digging up, and she was over getting flowers, and she's like, take that thing for a ride while I'm doing this. I'm like, okay.
How did she take the flowers back?
Huh? She put them in her weird one-sided side case.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're just bulbs.
I haven't ridden that thing.
It's freaking great.
I think I sat on it.
Fantastic. It's got the usual problem with fuel-injected bikes before they get the map worked out, where it's like a little tetchy down on the low end.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, God, what a freaking great bike. I got into Big Cottonwood Canyon, and there was nobody in front of me. I hit the light perfectly. And I rode the posted limit for a little ways.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, it's very law-abiding.
Someone else's bike, you're definitely riding at the posted limit.
100% at the posted limit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All limits. And I realized something. In addition to that's such a great bike. It's a little slower to tip in than I expected, I guess. That was the one thing that I found. It was it's a little kind of gradual on the lean in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just because it's got a little more rake to the front end and all that. There's kind of a fat front. I have not been on a fast two-wheeler in a long freaking time.
It's interesting because my barber is really big into Indian bikes.
Mm-hmm.
And he has one. He's talking about, what his next Indian will be. So I brought up the FTR to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying from the other Indian people he's been talking to, like the dealer here in town, they were saying they're just not selling.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it because of the, is it the, forgive me for saying it, but is it the Buell effect?
I don't know. He was kind of at a loss as to, because he thought it was pretty cool looking too.
It's cool looking. It's great riding. The seating position is almost identical to the Bandit, like really nice, comfortable, neutral position.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. I think it's a great bike, but yeah, I remember him saying that the dealer here in town it's not doing well here.
That's interesting. Did you hear that noise, Chuck? Sounded like globe. So I see you've got that on the showroom floor for a while. Interesting. You know, if the fuel doesn't come through for some reason, now I have a backup plan.
Oh, okay. All right. Not a Strom?
There's always the Strom backup plan too. Just grab a Gen 1 Strom and slap all the freaking accessories I have lying around for it onto it and just go.
Yep.
Whap, 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 done, go. You know, like some of my touring stuff's gone, but realistically, like I'm just not gonna. I could throw a freaking bag on the back, half-ass it for touring, bag in a trunk.
Oh yeah. Oh, an FTR would be nice though.
Very nice.
I hope it's successful for Indian so that they keep it and maybe add to it.
Yeah. The one-sided, because it has the big flared exhaust, so you can only put the luggage on one side. It was a little weird at first, but as I was looking at it, I'm like, nah, it kind of works actually. Bizarre, but it works.
Yeah, I think it's something you get used to real quick. Like a beauty mark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's very cool. You got to ride it. I hate you.
I enjoyed it immensely.
I hate Melinda.
Melinda said you'd hate us for that. So
Yeah, I hate both of you. As hard as I can right now. I hope you can feel this.
I can actually from miles away.
I'm doing this as hard as I can.
All right.
I hope Melinda feels her neck burning.
So I guess I'm not going to get to go to a lot of shows this year, which sucks.
Not a lot of shows, not a lot of events. I guess Daytona just kind of squeaked under that line.
Yeah,
Daytona Bike Week. Yeah,
and that was that.
I kind of wonder how many people came away from that with getting a little sick.
I reckon it's more than 0.
Yeah, but who knows? But yeah, they've managed to get it. I see like Sturgis is going to wait until mid-June to make a decision as to whether they're going to run.
Yep. And it turns out that there's also conferences online.
Okay, we're on with Alisa Clickenger. Clickenberger.
Alisa
Clickenger. Clicker.
This is after a half an hour of coaching.
So bad at this. Names are too long. Hello. I should probably say this part 2. So Alisa sent us a bunch of stuff about herself. She's been on the show before, which they had to remind me because I totally don't remember these things. I just remember I met her at IMS last year. And she does all the things. She's sort of like the Bigfoot of the internet as far as social media footprint. She's the author of Boost Your Confidence Through Motorcycling. She's ridden the Trans-American Trail, the Continental Divide Trail, back to back, doing a figure 8 of the United States on a DR350.
Saved orphans from a burning bus.
Orphans in Argentina, which she had to ride to from New York.
Yes. She's
ridden in Israel, India, Africa, Spain, Portugal, Bosnia,
Alisa, thank you for slumming with us tonight.
Yeah, she is way too high class for us. I don't understand.
There's no class here. It's just wanderlust. And there's no better way to see the world on 2 wheels.
And you just recently, like last week, right, did the Women's Motorcycle Conference online, yeah?
We did. It was fantastic. We had almost 350 people sign up, 348 to be exact, tickets sold. And it was it was really great. We had a fantastic array of presenters, and we had a maker's corner. We had a couple of networking sessions. We had a couple of panels. One was a confidence panel. We had a bunch of different presentations on finding a job in the motorcycle industry, to coming back from a crash, to some mindset stuff. It was really cool. And I'm pretty proud of the pivot that we did, because, my team, we were trying to figure out how do we serve like you guys, right? I mean, now because of the stay-at-home order, people are looking for more entertainment, more connection, and more information. And so we offered that up, and we're happy it was a success.
Yeah, everybody in the industry's got time for podcasts now. Huh?
Yeah, so you should be the trendsetters.
Yeah. How did the whole stay-at-home quarantine thing change the conference?
I mean, apart from the obvious.
Well, I mean, the stay-at-home thing really is what is why we came up with the conference, because I've been planning this massive cross-country ride for women in August of 2020, and suddenly everybody has to stay at home, and we can't gather, and my life's work for the past 2 years. It makes me want to cry. So, I was sitting back and crying in my coffee for a couple of weeks, and then
good save with the coffee.
That's a day that ends with Y for me.
So we had a team meeting. What are we going to do? How can we serve? And this idea popped out, and we said, hey, we don't know how long this is going to happen, how long people are going to be on a stay-at-home order. So we want to make sure that this happens in the time frame that people are still at home. So we did the impossible and pulled the whole thing together in 2 weeks.
Wow.
We learned a lot. We learned a lot about Zoom webinars. I use Zoom a lot, but webinars is a whole different beast. And we got all the presenters. I mean, it was amazing how quickly all the presenters came together, but we had to do a lot of training with them. We hired somebody to come in and actually train all of us to do it. And it just, I don't know, it came off really well, I think. I mean, the feedback's been super positive. And we're going to do it again.
So I have to ask about the training, because, you had a trainer in to train everybody. Is it like, don't burp directly into the mic? Don't read your slides. Don't pick your nose because everyone can see it.
I feel attacked.
Well, the training was partly the controls, the console, because we had to make everybody a co-presenter, but also Zoom webinars is very different in that if you've ever been on a Zoom call and there's back and forth and you can see each other and you can chat, well, webinars is different because we had to sort of prep everybody for the fact that they will be sitting at home talking to a computer screen.
Talking head.
They just had to look at their camera and talk and do the presentation that way. And it's rather disconcerting. Some of the other feedback that we got was that we needed to wait a little bit. We had so many people entering the Zoom room, if you will, that it would take a while for everybody. Yeah, exactly. It would take a while for 200 people to enter. So we would already be talking. So we actually had to sit there. It was like the most uncomfortable 10 seconds, but we'd sit there with a smile on our face, looking at our computer screen, waiting for the room to fill, and then we could start our presentation. So there was just a lot of nuances and that were fun stuff to learn, that the learning curve won't be so steep the next time around.
Is it as intimidating when you're giving the talk in the room? Because in real life, when the room fills up and people start sitting on the floor, you're like, oh shit, I better actually do a good job. Oh God. As the blips go on, is there a point at which you go from like, this is kind of funny to this is starting to frighten me?
These are real people.
Well, yes and no. There's two really disconcerting things. One is that you have no feedback. So you're just sitting there talking to your camera and there's no face, they're giving you, hey, I like you. Hey, this is terrible. You're not getting that feedback. So it's just disconcerting. And then the other thing is, as the presenter, you can't see the audience. So you understand that the room is filling up behind the scenes. But so what we did as there were a couple of presenters that I had that were really nervous. And so I said, hey, well, I can stay on screen with you and I'll give you that feedback. And so that really helped. And then what I did is I just flipped off my video after like 10 minutes. The audience didn't need to look at my face, but I was giving the presenter that sort of nonverbal feedback, like, the smile with your eyes and your lips and, like encouraging them, leaning towards the camera. So
eye contact.
yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. So yeah, but it's also terrifying as a conference producer because, well, I suppose live and in person, you have the same terror. Like somebody gets on stage and maybe they don't, they don't connect with the audience or their message is kind of like falls flat or something.
Or
so
they've had a few too many.
Yeah, we only had, so you're sort of sitting there waiting and hoping that that it goes really well and that they don't choke up in front of the camera or whatever. It was funny because some people, after a while, we realized that we had to coach everybody to not take drinks and stuff like that because, it's distracting.
Chuck, don't take drinks when you're near the live mic.
Excuse me for a minute.
Go on.
So I mean, yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's all good. But I'm like total type A, so I wanted everything to be perfect, and I wanted, So
I feel like you and I would get on really well. So big success though. I'm seeing across the interwebs. I'm seeing a lot of really positive noise about it.
Cool. Yeah, it was fun, and we, like I said, we did. The feedback is really good. I think it was very timely, and that's what we wanted. That's why we put it together so quickly. I don't think that it had the feel of not coming together. Sorry. I don't think it seemed to the audience like we had put it together
on the spur of the moment.
Very quickly. But I mean, truthfully, we worked around the clock. I worked with a gal named Brittany Morrow, and so I'm an early bird, and I'm on the East Coast, so I'd be up at like 4, and I'd be working until about 2 when I sort of conked out, and then she'd take over and she'd start, working on the web page and the presenters, and she'd take over, and then she went from like 2 to midnight, and so literally we were working around the clock to make that thing happen. And
wow.
But it's cool. It worked. I mean, I don't know, when you birth a new thing, it's like it's kind of cool to watch it take on a life of its own. It was fun, and it was so in the moment when we were presenting the conference. It was really a lot of fun. It was, the first one was nerve-wracking for me because I was hoping the technology would work, and I was giving the keynote, and so I was really, really nervous. But and that's how I know about the no feedback. You just have to, I'm delivering this keynote to the little hole on my computer, So that was, but it was, it was really a lot of fun, and we're gonna do it again with a women's only conference, and we just decided this morning that we're gonna do one that's not focused on women, just for everyone, all motorcyclists. So
cool. That's
gonna be June 5th and 6th, and we have some crazy ideas for the people that we're gonna have involved in that. A lot of how to, and we're going to have the makers panel again because that was really popular, but we're going to put a twist to it this time. People who are actually entrepreneurs in the motorcycle industry and making the products, and so it's a great opportunity for people to ask them questions directly, and so, those products that you see in an ad in a magazine. Well, here you get to talk to the people who make it, so that's pretty cool. And
So, question now,
yes,
did you find the online format actually made it a lot easier for more people to come?
yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think you'd lean that way again in the future as opposed to the in-person where, you basically get whatever half of the country it's in?
Well, yeah, that's an excellent question. I love bringing people together. And I think that this online, I think that this COVID-19 thing has changed society. And I think a lot more
people are icky.
Well, people are embracing technology a lot more. People who never got on Zoom or Facebook Live are now embracing it more. And so I think we're going to see, as a byproduct, I think we're going to see people coming together more and more virtually. I think event planners, of which I am one, are certainly going to question, so for instance, I have a 6-figure contract with a Marriott hotel for my August event that I'm sweating because
is that a thing?
Right.
Can't people even gather? So when you're an event producer, you have to put a lot of money down on a hotel and book the space and hope that people will come, right? Well, online, you don't have those 6-figure contracts with convention centers or hotels. So I think, I mean, just from what I'm seeing from where I sit, I think we're going to see a lot more online activities, but there's nothing that can replace that person-to-person contact. So we are planning on, if we can gather in August, we're going to do a hybrid, because I was already planning a women's motorcycle conference in Arlington, August 20, 21, 22. So now we're going to do a hybrid. We're going to do both at the same time, both online and in person. So frankly, if we can't gather, then, we'll still save the day by having a virtual conference, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. How many speakers did you have at this conference?
Oh, we had 25.
Whoa.
Yeah, some of them were on panels, and then we also had some folks like Katie McKay. She ran a couple of the connection sessions, which were networking sessions, where folks. It was not seminar style. It was mingle style, so everybody could log on and talk all at the same time. And so Katie McKay, she ran one of the connection sessions for us. That was pretty cool. She's a community builder. And so we had three of those sessions, and then we had 2 panels, and then a bunch of individual presentations. We what happened was we kept hearing, we sort of put out a call for presentations, and so we had enough, and then more came in, and we're like, oh, that's so cool. Okay, well, we'll extend the hours. Oh, that's so cool. We'll extend the hours, because originally it was going to be like 3 sessions on Friday and I think 7 or 8 on Saturday, but we ended up going from 10 to 9:30 both days. So we just kept adding more and more.
And being online, you have that kind of flexibility.
Yeah, exactly. You do have that flexibility. If you had, if you booked a conference room and you couldn't get into it until 11 a.m., well, you're stuck with your agenda, you're stuck with your flow, you're stuck with all of that stuff. And so we wanted to stick to our schedule because we had published the schedule, but all along we said it will be subject to change up until 48 hours beforehand. So we also had a way of being that flexible, if you will.
Did anyone not like the new format? And if they didn't, what didn't they like?
I didn't receive that feedback.
Oh, okay, cool.
I mean, but I think that so the feedback that we got was people wanted more time, and they wanted some more connection, one-on-one
interaction kind of thing.
Interaction, yeah. Sorry, not one-on-one. Interaction. There were a couple of sessions that, for instance, the makers panel, we allowed an hour, and it was very clear. Like we didn't even, I think we had something like 42 questions in the lineup, and we got to like the first 6 questions. But Zoom lets you, it has a feature where if people put their question in the Q&A, it'll let you know which questions weren't answered live. Like as the person running the controls behind the scene, you have to mark whether you answered it live or not. But all the unanswered questions, we had a name and an email associated with, so we could go back and answer those questions later. But
that's super cool.
It's a really cool feature. But the point I was trying to make was that we didn't allow enough time. We had no idea that, an hour would be way too little. So now we know. And that's part of the growing process as you guys have probably found. I mean, I'm sure you what you do is probably pretty similar, right? You want to kind of know ahead of time, how your people are going to be, are they lacking for words, or are they like incredibly verbose like myself?
There doesn't seem to be any middle ground in guests, because you've got on the one hand the guest who we have to like beat an interview out of, it feels like.
Winded them up.
Yeah, and then there are the ones where we just like wind them up and let them go.
Like me.
Case in point. But it works out well, because the whole point, is the same reason people love listening to other people. I think is honestly just the heart and soul of it.
Yes.
That's why they like the panels. That's why they like watching them interact. Like, God, the show we did with the, what was the one? We did a panel show kind of like yours with the bike, or it was the community garage people. And, holy cow, they all wanted to talk. Lot. At once.
We definitely needed a moderator for that show.
Next time, moderator.
Someone with a club.
But I think what we do is kind of similar in a way,
How many barking dogs did you hear?
None.
You're kidding. What? Not even in like the socials.
Okay, so there was this really cool moment. The first evening, we had an after hours party. So the conference was officially done for the day, but it was kind of like, imagine a live conference. Everybody's, doesn't quite want to go to bed yet. So they meet up in the bar or whatever. And they're,
the Marriott kicks them out at 5 a.m. Marriott Chicago, screw you.
Well, so we had a session like that. And at one point, like you could see like cats walking in front of cameras. And at one point, I don't know, a whole bunch of people, like 20 people, just like hold up their cats. It became like the cat moment, and it was really fun.
You need to have the crazy cat person panel.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, which I used to be that before I became a motorcycle traveler. So.
Well, if you get I'm just going to say this, if you get a sidecar and a carrier, or one of those things where you can strap a cat to the front of you while you ride, because that's not a terrible idea at all.
You get the backpack with the little porthole.
But the caggles just never, the doggles are great, but the caggles, I don't know.
It doesn't have the same ring
off the tongue.
Yeah, it just doesn't work the same way.
Hey, you want to buy some cankles?
Yeah.
So on the other end of things, apart from the conference, motorcycle tours, that's got to be a bit of experiencing a bit of a strange days, huh? Yeah,
I've been, chatting with some of my colleagues who are all in the same boat, and it's a difficult thing. I mean, the whole motorcycle. This is a real blow. Worldwide, it's a blow, but. And because I'm in the motorcycle industry, I'm really seeing how it's affecting. I mean, a lot of these dealers in the motorcycle industry, they, you asked me about tours, so sorry about that. I segued a little bit. Okay.
You can segue to interesting stuff anytime you want.
Yeah, okay. you can
wind you up, let you go.
Yeah, exactly. So back to the tours. It's a difficult thing, because many people, travelers on the one hand, travelers want to travel, so they will travel. But then there's a lot of the people who, aren't frequent travelers, or they're in that demographic, they're older people, or they have some type of immune thing, and they don't want to travel. I mean, what I can tell you from my perspective is that when COVID first came out, and people didn't quite know what it was going to be, I had a bunch of people contact me and say, "Hey, I want to pay now. I want to make sure that you do this." And I'm like, I don't know. Please don't pay me in full now, because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to take your money and then have to give it back. It's very, very nice of them. And then it got really quiet, and it's sort of like then it got really uncomfortable, because I didn't want to be promoting, and I'm still not promoting my event, because who knows if it's even going to happen.
Yeah. And it feels a little crass on some level, doesn't it?
It
when
does.
You get all those emails from like the scuzzy banks and everything, like it's a difficult time right now. Why not buy a Toyota minivan? What?
Yeah. It's the I feel for all the tour operators, certainly, but there's a ripple effect through the entire industry, especially the dealers.
And the dealers are running pretty tight as is. I mean, I don't get the impression there's a lot of margin on the bike itself.
No, they dealers make their money through the what they call PG&A, parts and accessories.
Mm-hmm.
And in a lot of the country, these motorcycle dealers, they don't sell much. They barely scrape through the winter, and then they emerge into spring, and that's when they sell bikes and gear and helmets and gloves and all that stuff. And and now nobody's going to dealerships and buying things, and it's putting a real strain on industry, and a lot of the manufacturers have shut down. I mean, they've closed their offices.
Sure, because you can't have a bunch of people working an assembly line making motorcycles if they're going to get sick.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a big problem, and I think that a lot of people are going to have to shift. I mean, from my sad story. I've been working on this my event for 2 years. I didn't plan any motorcycle tours this year. Wouldn't have done me any good anyway, but I hadn't, I just had my big event this year. And then now that's probably not going to happen. I can't imagine that we're going to, we were talking about bringing 1,000 ladies together. I can't imagine that's
I think that's more than 10. I'm not a mathematician,
more than 10.
But
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the whole industry, but then again, we also led the reinvention. I mean, that was the theme of our online conference, reinvention. And so reinventing the way that people come together and connect. And I think there's tremendous opportunity there for people who provide good content. I think that we're going to see, unfortunately, I think it's kind of a nail in the coffin of print magazines, because everybody's going to be so familiar. We were already heading towards video anyway. Sorry, guys, I have to take a shower and probably get on video at some point.
Screw that. Pants?
Oh, sorry.
But I mean, a lot of people, they're enjoying that connection, even if it's virtual. So I think we're going to see some reinvention of the way people come together, certainly.
Mm-hmm. And maybe a lot of the democratization of content. You'll forgive me, I've got this soapbox under here. I'm just going to pull this out for a sec. Because speaking as a grubby podcaster, nothing irks me like seeing like NPR is like, we have a bunch of podcasts. And I'm like, okay, technically those are podcasts, but those are produced in a studio with a staff of like 10 freaking people, okay?
Yeah. Those are professional radio shows.
Yes, that happen to be given out that way. On the other hand, every time I see a new grubby homemade podcast, I'm just thrilled. Because that's a voice that you don't get to hear until now.
Yeah. Yeah. And have you folks found an uptick in listeners and in subscriptions?
I haven't actually looked. Certainly interaction from listeners is up a lot.
Good.
I haven't looked at numbers in a long time. I don't know if anyone listens to us.
And you know what? That's so damn cool. That is so damn cool. Seriously, because you just do what you're doing and you keep on doing it because it pleases you, and that's the best art, really.
Well,
and that's the best form of service.
Right now, this is the only social interaction I get. I don't want to talk to Todd.
And yet, here we are.
Here we are.
Here you are.
So a couple of slightly almost as vitally important ones. Did Brittany do her bit in front of the helmet wall? Because she was waffling about it before, and I was like, no, you have to do it in the helmet wall.
Yeah, she totally did.
Okay,
I didn't know that there was any.
There's a
question about that.
There's a bit of waffling on Facebook, like, well, I don't know if it's too busy, and everybody's like, what are you talking about? Okay.
Oh,
just checking.
I missed that. Yeah, totally. In front of the wall.
Second question would be, so there's listeners who are listening to this right now or whenever we actually get our asses in gear and edit it. And they're thinking, oh my God, I missed that by, we'll generously say 2 weeks. Can they still, such dreams, can they still watch the conference? Yeah.
We have recordings available. So if they go to the Women's Motorcycle Tours website, mm-hmm. and womensmotorcycletours.com/conference. And that's where people can sign up to be informed of the next upcoming conference, or they can email me off the webpage, and mm-hmm. And I can provide the recordings.
That's cool.
Yeah. Very cool. You'll get an uptick of 3, maybe 4 people. It'll be great.
Well, operators are on standby to take your orders now.
Operator.
Yes, operator.
Thank you for calling Women's Motorcycle Tour. This is absolutely a recording and not me doing a voice.
Well, was there one presentation or talk at the conference that was your favorite? Yes, I'm asking you to pick your favorite child.
Oh, that's mean. Instead, I'm going to tell you about what I wanted, but I didn't put in. What I wanted.
She's ready for politics.
Because I'm an author, I really wanted an author corner, and we just remember I told you it kept expanding. Mm-hmm. We sort of ran out of space for it, and we didn't have a good place to put it in the lineup. So that's definitely a feature that'll be in the next online conference is an author's corner, where mm-hmm. we'll have a moderator and talk to people about both, their books, but also the process of writing a book, because there's so many people who have been on these great adventures, and maybe they want to write a story about it, or ask their favorite author, somebody whose book touched them, what it took to write that, or, what goes into getting a book even published. Mm-hmm. So
is there a particular kind of motorcycle author you want to aim at for that? Is it the real stories? Because I'm thinking of motorcycle fiction that's on my shelf and nonfiction, and it's pretty broad, the selection there.
For the upcoming conference,
romance novels. Please say romance. Go ahead.
Motorcycle romance novels.
Motorcycle bodice rippers, front to back.
Yeah.
Motorcycle romance Bigfoot novels.
There you go.
Hey, yeah. Bigfoot romance novels are a thing on Amazon.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I live a sheltered life. I'm gonna have to
risky click. Risky
Bigfoot, dinosaur men, lizard men, aliens, romance, erotica. It's all there on Amazon.
Yeah.
Don't ask why I know that.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, now, yes. I like Traveler's Tales. I also like the DIY and the Learn to Ride Better types of books. Those are all favorites of mine.
So principally a nonfiction kind of bent to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Maybe,
I mean, Liz
second
Jansen.
Bodice Ripper one.
I'd love to have.
Todd has a manuscript he wants you to read.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Okay. Well, I hear you can get those published on Amazon for $1.99.
Would you be comfortable with talking about the ride that you've been trying to organize?
Sure.
Cool. So, yeah, because you've kind of mentioned it in passing a few times. So let's talk about the Centennial Ride.
Okay. Originally planned as a nationwide celebration of the centennial of the 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote. I thought no better way than to celebrate freedom to vote than on motorcycles. They're both very emblematic of freedom, and hell, I just like a good excuse to go for a long ride. Mm-hmm. So, and I like bringing people together, particularly women. Although this event was for anyone, men and women. I'll have both men and women on staff, and we were planning on starting on the West Coast, and we had 3 main cross-country routes. One came across the northern part of the country, Portland and across, and then San Francisco and across, and then Los Angeles and across. We had 10 different start cities, and a New York historical route, and a start in Orlando that came up to Atlanta, and then over to Knoxville. And all the routes would come together in Knoxville, Tennessee, which is Tennessee was pivotal in the story of the passage of the 19th Amendment, because you need 36 states to ratify an amendment before it goes on to Washington to be signed into law. And Tennessee was that pivotal state. And the cool thing was, we are scheduled to be in Knoxville, where the 19th Amendment was signed, on the exact date that it was signed, August 18th, 1920.
Oh, wow.
And we were planning a big celebration. I've been working with the city of Knoxville. I've been working with all these cities. I spent the winter on the IMS International Motorcycle Show circuit, promoting the ride and helping in the Discover the Ride area at the shows. And that was just such a neat experience to be able to get, first contact with so many people with motorcycles. It was just really, really cool thing. And I'm talking about the ride around the country. And then in between shows, I would be sussing out hotels and, looking at facilities and convention centers and meeting with partners and stuff. Mm-hmm. And as I mentioned, it took me, I've spent the last 2 years planning this, and mm-hmm. Now I really question whether it's going to happen. I'm having a hard time admitting to myself that I don't think it's going to happen. I have several options. One of which is to postpone it for a year. I just
101?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Hey, the Olympics had to do it.
Yeah.
You can too.
That's sort of my example. And, so for the past several weeks, I've been saying, hey, if Sturgis happens, and if the Suffrage Centennial celebration happens in Knoxville, then those are my 2 pivotal pieces, and our event will run. But now Sturgis is reevaluating. I mean, Sturgis, and this is huge for them.
I don't know if Sturgis should really be your model for a combination of motorcycle rally and infectious disease control.
Yeah, I know, but I had a really cool experience planned there at the Buffalo Chip. So we were going to take the ladies glamping there and basically show up, and we had these luxury tented accommodations, and we were right there at the chip. So we got to take it. We would be able to take advantage of all the concerts and all the entertainment right there, participate in the Biker Bells celebration there on Tuesday morning, and then go to the concerts at night, and then roll out the next day. So we were going to have 2 magnificent days there. So it's just, as an event planner, it's a little, I'm highly invested in this event, because it's not like it's just a job for me. This has been my life's work for the past couple of years. So I'm having a hard time,
internalizing it.
Yeah, I guess, and I don't want to give up on this baby that I've created, but I really, there's this other really practical part of me that thinks, well, can we, in August, will we even be at a point in this virus where it makes sense for people to gather? I really don't believe we'll be under stay-at-home orders in August. I don't think the American people will stand for it. And it's an election year, so no politician is going to say, okay, folks, stay at home for another 4 months.
There's a butt lurking behind that.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't, yeah.
Like,
I don't know that it's going to be safe.
Doing that?
Will the appetite be there to be around that many people?
Yeah. And I don't, right now it's just a guess. I don't know.
Well, so the roads will still all be there for the ride. I mean, barring some serious Mad Max crap, in which case, you're just going to have to become, you're going to have to lead Bartertown. But
biker gangs.
Failing that, the roads will still be there. So I guess the problem becomes the bookings, huh? It's the locations, the venues.
Yeah. It's that. So there's 2 sides of any event. There's the infrastructure. So will all, 13 or 15 states that we ride through, will they all be open? Will the hotels be able to operate? Will they have enough staff? Will they have proper cleaning procedures in place?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a whole new chain of logistics.
Yeah. And so then there's the other side of it, which is the organization side. When COVID-19 hit, most of my sponsors, I was set to have a terrific March. I had my press releases all set, and I had some amazing announcements. And as soon as COVID-19 hit, one by one, they said, no, we're going to reevaluate. And that was disappointing on my side. But smart on theirs. A bunch of companies lost tons of money on MotoGP because MotoGP had the misfortune of being like right at the beginning, so they couldn't even look 5 months down the pipeline, down the calendar like I can and say, I mean, maybe they were lucky or maybe it was just a fait accompli, but I don't know which is worse, come to think of it, whether it's just like having it, abruptly game over or guessing what's going to take place in 5 months. I don't know, 4 months now.
Well, I can give you some good news is that although motorcycle sales aren't going great from dealerships, ridership seems to be pretty alive and well.
Yeah.
I mean, you can certainly get out and ride your ass off right now because, I never take my helmet or my suit off, so, I'm not touching anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, motorcycling is the perfect form of social distancing, is it not?
Yeah. And we're still training people, although I have to yell a lot louder and my voice is pretty goddamn tired at the end of the day, but it's
Are you guys still doing the classroom portion?
No shit, no. Are you kidding me? No. No.
Wait, but you're actually training people on a range?
Yeah.
Wow.
So what
Yeah,
you do is
he's a coach.
you take half the people, you spread them out so that they're never closer than 6 feet anyway. I mean, honestly, the number of times they're closer than 6 feet are mostly when you're talking to them on the range, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you spread them out further. You have less students in a class, which kind of sucks. But then, basically you stand back as the coach and you yell at them. And here's a funny thing we've learned. As a coach, most of the time, we've been standing too damn close. Like several of the exercises, I'm backed off 6, 7, 8 feet. And I'm like, this is actually a better spot. I should have been here all along.
For like observing?
Yeah. For observing and just for giving them space to do the thing and not being right up on top of them. So it's, it's been a learning experience, but happy news is people are still coming. People are still trying to get riding. So, they'll be, when they come out of the gate, they're going to want to go far, Alisa.
Cool. That is really cool. I live in my own little myopic universe. That is really cool. I'm so glad that people are still coming to the sport. That's fantastic.
Young folks too. The one old guy self-counseled out of the class, and I was the oldest guy there.
But that's good too. That's great news. We need to usher in the riders of all types.
Mm-hmm. You want to borrow my bullhorn, Todd?
No, as it turns out, this will come as a great surprise to you, but I'm pretty loud already.
You're not gonna. You need to save your voice. That's your sweet radio voice.
My sweet radio voice. I'm not using the full radio voice until now. Hello, listeners. How are you?
That's really cool. How does that work for you on the range?
I mostly just holler.
Hello, riders. Welcome to motorcycle training.
Stop sucking.
That's fantastic.
So, Alisa, if they want to go and look at the conference they missed, sorry, listeners, should have gotten around sooner, or see some of your other stuff, or what tours they can dream about when the quarantine is lifted, where should they go?
Sure thing.
Oh, you got half an hour for her to list all these links?
Yep.
No, there's only one. It's www.womensmotorcycletours.com.
Dudes, you're allowed to go to.
Yeah, on the Centennial ride. The regular tours are just for ladies only. Hence
the name. Yeah, okay. I guess that makes sense.
Name.
Yeah. We'll have a link to that in the show notes, along with a link to her AlisaClickenger.com webpage and the CentennialRide.com webpage and her YouTube channel and her Twitter, her Instagram, her Yelp, and
you can't swing a cat on social media without hitting
LinkedIn, Facebook, MySpace. She still has a MySpace page. We neither one of us are in her top 8 friends.
Alisa, thanks so much for being on with us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure. I'm so glad you asked me back, and hopefully I was well behaved enough that we'll talk again soon.
Not too well behaved. This is Wheelnerds.
I think the online events are a way of the future.
I think so too, because on the one hand, like, I agree that a little in person is cool. It's so much easier to go to an online event for so many people. And like, not just, I'm thinking of like the young students I've got who are just starting to ride. Like, they're going to go out and buy some shit pile bike, and they're not going to go and spend like thousands of bucks to go to a fancy conference somewhere far away.
Right. Yeah.
But if there's an online thing, they can sure go and enjoy that. So,
yeah.
Hey.
And there's like the sky's the limit as far as the size.
Yeah.
Right. You're not limited to the physical facilities.
Yeah. And you can have, people presenting who are totally lame ass presenters. Chuck, we could be presenting at conferences.
We should totally present at conferences. We should totally do a podcast panel at a conference virtually.
Yes. Do we have to do a panel? Can we just do an episode?
Well, yeah. When I say panel, I mean a panel of us.
Okay. All right. I'm more comfortable with that. Maybe just to flesh it out, we'll bring in a few of our auxiliaries. Maybe.
Because we run the risk then that they'd rather listen to the auxiliaries than us.
We'd be selective about the auxiliaries, only the really boring ones.
We're not going to be as popular as any of the people we know.
Damn. It's all gone wrong.
Yeah, I mean, Mona would ride up on her FTR, and people would just be cheering.
Oh.
And we'll just walk off sadly, even though we're already at our own homes.
On the bright side, there's beer upstairs.
There's beers. Hey, virtually, we could put together our own conference.
Ooh.
We could do a Wheelnerds online conference. Get like other podcasters as presenters.
Interesting.
Oh my God, dude, we could do this week. This might have legs.
That might. We're gonna need so much beer. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Nokomoto and me alone account for a sizable amount of beer.
Yes.
Throw Wes in there and it's fucking over.
But everyone would be providing their own beer because everyone's
right. This does have legs. We can do this, Chuck.
We don't have to do anything.
We just have to tell them to show up with a microphone, and they do that for free.
Yeah. This could be fun.
I know who we need to get to MC. All right, it's a go. We're making this happen. I have no idea how or when, but we gotta
start planning this. We're gonna start bothering Alisa. Alisa? I forgot how to say it already. Alisa. Start bothering her. Hey, how do you do this one bit? Hey, don't hang up. Mm-hmm. Oh, I kind of dig this idea.
Yeah. What have you learned this week, Chuck?
I've learned we've come across a cool new idea.
We may have hit upon something.
Yeah, this could be really cool. What have you learned?
I've learned that even if we do something like this and it's terrible, people really could use something to listen to. So what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, if it's terrible, who cares? Mm-hmm. It's not like we put, a bunch of money into a convention center.
I've also learned that the market for motorcycle bodice rippers is horribly underserved. And so, on a totally unrelated note, I must go. That's all we got time for. That's all we got time for this week. Until next time, I'm Todd.
Please make him stop.
Ride safe, everyone.
We'll see you next time. You can contact us at wheelnerds@gmail.com or leave us a message at area code 801-917-4136.
Record an intro for our show of you and your bike, and maybe it'll be on a future show.
Stickers and other merchandise is available at our website, www.wheelnerds.com.
If you use iTunes or Stitcher, please leave a review for us. Hell, write our URL on bathroom walls if it helps.
If you like this podcast, you can find more like it at wheelnerds.com. This has been a Wheelnerds production, all rights reserved. Readings from other sources are the property of their respective owners and are used with satirical intent.
All right. Sorry.
Did we all just go to Amazon right now and start sleeping? Is that what
I will just stop talking and go to Amazon.
Maybe.
Oh, we'd love to.
There's the dog barking, too. You asked me about it.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Wimbledon.
Thank you.
Jeez.
You're welcome.
And it's Alisa Clickenger, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
I am apologizing in advance for what I'm about to do.
I've lived with it my whole life.
Yeah, I'm sure this is nothing new.